Welcome back, everybody, for Galaxy Radio episode 27. We have a wonderful guest today, Rollux. We have three guests today speaking with us. So I know obviously that's a bit out of the norm. So we'll do the introductions for each guest and then the questions going forward. We'll just let obviously our guest choose who decides who want to answer each question. So. For those of you who don't know the format of today, we usually start the weekly episode with a AMA portion. It doesn't last the whole hour. It usually lasts around 30 minutes to 40 minutes, just depending on the discussion, which is totally okay. Usually these are super informative and very fun. For the usual listeners, you guys know how it go. Um, we will stay the full hour so that everybody can get the credential no matter what. We always stay the hour. Once the AMA portion is finished, I'll stay on with the community and just chat about some general crypto related things and some community updates. So with that, let's just go ahead and dive right into it, of course. Today we have Rolex, obviously. We have, I believe we have Patrick, Dylan, and Alex. So glad to have you guys here. Welcome. Show some love in the chat, guys. And we'll start with just a quick introduction from each of you. Let's just go right down the line. We'll start with Patrick, and then we'll go to Alex, and then we'll go to Dylan afterwards.
I believe mine is. Can you all hear me?
Yes, you sound good.
Okay, I'll start first. My name is
Yeah, that
Alex.
works. Glad to have you.
Yeah, Patrick, you might want to check out your mic. Yeah, my name is Alex. I work with Syscoin Rollux. It's been about 2 years now. I do a lot of project management, work on the marketing and BD side of things. And I'm just very excited about our recent launch of Rollux, our collaboration that we've had with Galaxy. So looking forward to talking to you guys about our tech, about our ecosystem, what we do, and answering any questions, of course.
Of course, glad to have you. And yeah, 2 years on something is a lot of hard work. Yeah, very very cool stuff. Excited with your guys' launch of mainnet as well. We can get into that as we go. Next, we'll go right on to Patrick and or Dylan. Who's ever ready right away? If you're ready, Patrick, you can go first. Yeah. If you're having trouble, check in your settings on the input and output of your microphone, and just make sure it's not on default and that it's on whichever you're using. And then Dylan, if you actually want to go ahead first, and then while Patrick gets the mic fixed.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you sound good. Feel free to just give us an
Awesome.
introduction of yourself. Let us know how you got involved with Rolex Syscoin.
Yeah, okay. What's up, everyone? My name is Dylan, um, and I have technically been in the crypto space over a decade now. So,
Wow,
it's,
that's
um,
impressive.
yeah, I guess it didn't think it would turn into all this, but here it is, and I did step away for a while, and I came back in 2017, but that was just in time for the 2017 bull run. That's when I discovered Syscoin. I got
Yeah,
involved in their community, and we weren't originally on Discord, but we eventually, I think we transitioned to Discord in 2018, and I just stayed an active part of their community, kept up on everything. There were good times, there were bad times, especially going into the bear markets. But
mhm.
and being a community member and just not really knowing what's going on behind the scenes, but I stuck with it, and I uh, I was living in Korea from March 2019 to March 2021. And before I left there, I guess about a little under a year, maybe, I started working for Syscoin. Just I started volunteering myself for them and started working on a gig basis. And then that developed into part-time work while I was still in Korea. And then I plan to move back to the US. And when I let them know my plans to come back to the States, they offered me a full time position. And I graciously accepted it. And here I am. I guess I've been with Syscoin almost 2 years now as well. And yeah, if it wasn't for Discord and being an active member of the community,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be where I am now. So it's been a wild ride.
That is that last thought is actually such a crazy thing that I think about pretty frequently because that's how I ended up working with Galaxy as well. Was it was just being an active member of Discord, and then you begin to understand a project better and just talk to the specific people and everything, and just kind of spreads from there. And pretty exciting stuff. It's weird. It's a weird reality we ended up in, honestly. So,
Yeah,
um,
it's definitely not the traditional career path.
no, no, 100%. It's hard to explain to people sometimes, but yeah, thank you for the awesome introduction. 10 years is an interesting one. It's very rare that you hear a decade in crypto, especially with just mostly because of the hype, honestly, in the last 2 years. But appreciate it
just
though.
just give it a little bit of time.
Of course. And Patrick, let's do a quick mic test, see if we're working here. Interesting. I'm not sure. Let me check here. Yeah, I don't think Patrick's mic is working still. Let us know if you can. Oh, okay. Let me see if we can re-invite him up. One second, guys. No worries. We are used to mics sometimes not working. Okay, we'll continue without Patrick for now, guys. Not a problem. We'll go forward with Dylan and Alex. So obviously, the first question beyond introductions is going to be, going directly into Rolex. So between the two of you guys can feel free to decide who is the best one to answer each question. So the first question of the day is, can you give us your best intro into Rolex? Let us know what it is, what you guys are doing. Obviously, as you know, a lot of listeners might be coming brand new and fresh into Rolex and or Syscoin. So
That's tough when you said who is the best. Like me and Dylan compete
sorry.
on on Rolex. I'll go ahead and take this one. So essentially, layer two blockchain. It's a fork of optimism. What
Yeah.
makes it super unique is unlike all these other layer twos like arbitrum and stuff, we are built on the Syscoin blockchain. A very specific reason for that. So, in comparison to what you currently see with Ethereum in its proof of stake model, Syscoin is a proof of work model that actually inherits the security of Bitcoin by using a term called merge mining, which is applying Bitcoin's proof of work onto Syscoin. I won't get too into it, but doing that, Syscoin is proof of work.
Oh, sorry.
It's
Your mic's cutting out a little bit.
where did I leave off?
Go back one sentence.
So, the Bitcoin miners are essentially securing the Syscoin blockchain. So we maintain proof of
Very
work,
cool.
and that's why we built Rollux on top of Syscoin. It's got what's called data availability, which is always going to ensure that transactions stay low cost. It's something that Ethereum is working on. Syscoin has already got that established. There's a lot of advantages to it in regards to scale. A lot of people have heard of the blockchain trilemma, which is talking about that you need scalability, you need security, and you need decentralization. Um, Having Rolex built on top of the Syscoin blockchain kind of gives us that best design to be able to take advantage of all that. So it's it's pretty awesome. Essentially, like what Alex here in the chat says, that Rolex is pretty much secured by Bitcoin, and that's done through the
No, that is very cool. I've actually not heard of merge mining before today, actually. So obviously I'll be getting some new terms today as well. And if we have any specifically more heavy tech related stuff that a lot of our users might not be accustomed to, I may just ask you guys for just some definitions as well, just to help clear things up for the listeners.
Yeah,
So just
absolutely. My job is to kind of I don't use the word dumb it down, but just kind of make it understandable, right? Because there's a lot of these tech terms, a lot of acronyms. People are like,
yeah,
what the heck are you talking about? It's like, no, you got to make it easily
exactly.
understandable. That way people know why it's important. Obviously, all you guys have heard of Dogecoin. So Doge is actually merge mined, but with Litecoin. So
Oh,
it's
I did not know that.
yeah, so it's essentially like you're taking another like consensus algorithm, another blockchain, and you're using their blockchain for to secure yours. So there's a few examples out there. Dogecoin's probably the biggest one, except they're doing it with Litecoin, not with Bitcoin, and we do it with Bitcoin, the most secure, proven blockchain in existence.
No, yeah, that's a great example, honestly. That was a very good way of explaining it. I know, yeah, I know, dumb it down can seem a harsher phrase, but
Calling
um,
y'all dumb, everyone.
but for me, no, it helps, right? It's that's the goal, is to make this understood by everybody, right? Best you can. And in the process, right, we're all learning as we go along, and a lot of these things can be a point of growth for users. So very exciting stuff. So obviously, you guys are very connected to Syscoin, of course. Um, could you kind of would you be able to go into just a little bit more details on sort of how connected Rolex is with Syscoin? You guys are building on Syscoin. Do you guys share team members, etc.? Is this like a multi operation you guys have going on? Just so users can kind of understand that relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the same people behind Syscoin are the
Yeah.
ones behind Rollux. Rollux honestly is just our product and our brand. So instead of saying, Syscoin here, Syscoin there, we say Rollux because that's the product, right? The
Of
way
course.
Syscoin is designed is to be able to handle multiple layer twos in the future. So we picture a future where there's a whole bunch of other blockchains that are literally building on top of Syscoin. The unique thing of Rollux is like the first one, and it's probably the most ready, scalable chain out there for layer twos compared to everything that's out there right now. So it's
Is
exciting where we're at right now.
Yeah, no, that is really cool. Is there, as far as like the Syscoin ecosystem, like how big would you say it is right now currently? Or people building that you know of?
It's growing every day. I would say it's relatively small in
Mhm,
comparisons to these other, big blockchains like AVAX and Polygon. But that's because we purposely had our layer one designed to be slow.
mhm.
So not a lot of dApps were on there because, nobody's gonna wait 5, 2.5,
True.
10 minutes for transactions, right?
Yeah.
So there was some dApps there, but you're not seeing like crazy activity like you see on these other platforms. And that layer one of Syscoin is purposely designed that way just to be able to handle more on the layer two side because we believe in what's called modular design versus
Mhm.
monolithic. So I know those are two big words. Let me kind of just dumb it down here.
Thank
Or
you.
I still got to find a better phrase for that, but you guys know what I mean.
Of course, yeah.
So a monolithic is where you do dilemmas, decentralization, scalability, security at one place.
Oh,
Fast
sorry, we lost you for 1 second. When you started explaining monolithic.
Yeah, monolithic is when you try to do everything in one place. For example, Bitcoin is currently a monolithic chain. Like it's good for security. You're not going to do like fast transactions on Bitcoin, but it's
Exactly. Yeah.
going to be decentralized and secure. Then you've got, let me see a good example. Phantom is a good example of a monolithic chain. Like they feel like they can scale really fast in just the layer one, but at the same time, like they suffer from centralization issues because you have to deal with validators and all that stuff. It's a little more um, risky there from the security side. So with a modular, you're kind of dividing that work up. So you're saying, hey, on this layer one, this base layer, We just want to go ahead and make sure that everything is secure and everything is decentralized. And in that second layer, the layer two is where you go for speed and scalability, because that layer two inherits the security of the layer one. So that's essentially what makes it very unique and performant.
That's very cool. You're
Can
getting
you guys hear me
you're
now?
getting the best of both worlds with that. Yes, Patrick. Yeah, we can hear you now. Your mic is working.
Yeah, man,
Oh
finally.
man,
No,
it's
yeah,
Windows
not a
11, dude.
That's
problem.
a
So tired of
Don't
Windows
worry.
11.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes this it can happen. So we've dealt with it before. So don't worry. Everybody's used to something. There's always got to be one tech problem. So this is how it works. So appreciate you coming on, Patrick. I do actually have a question from a audience member that we'll go into next. But first, Patrick, feel free to introduce yourself. Let everyone know what you're doing with Rollux slash Syscoin. Just give us a bit of your backstory as well.
Yeah, sure. So I've been in crypto probably since around 2015. I've been in Syscoin and probably since 2016. Always kind of been a part of the community. Then I joined. I got introduced the last couple of years. They brought me on marketing and PR manager. But really, what I do is it's kind of like all encompassing. So all of like the graphic stuff that you see,
Hmm.
any videos, things like that, the
Very cool.
Galxe campaign. That's pretty much me putting that all together. Um, yeah, and that's really about it. It's a
Cool.
pretty simple
You're
blockchain.
covering the Galaxy campaigns as well.
Yeah, I actually made the yeah, that whole thing is me.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Exciting. We can I'm glad your mic is working because we're gonna go into that later on. So
Sure.
um I appreciate it. So for now, guys, let's we're gonna go into a bit of technical stuff, and then we'll lead towards some different community aspects, some ways to get involved with Rolex, obviously. For now, we have leading off of the previous discussion, obviously regarding security and scalability, and with Rolex is going getting the best of both worlds in a sense. We have a question from Alex Cat. Everybody knows our audience here knows Alex Cat has the best questions. So I appreciate you, Alex. Thanks again for joining us this week. Alex Cat says, so Rolex is secured by Bitcoin. Could you elaborate and go into further details on how Bitcoin security protocols are integrated into Rolex's infrastructure? So we know that it does obtain these things, but what are the more finer details?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we have to make that answer very complex. It's very simple, just
Okay.
so the the crowd doesn't get confused. Because like we can get into the zeros and ones and stuff like that, but then nobody's really gonna get that. So what
Okay.
you guys need to understand about how it's secured is just through the whole system, and that's through the merged mining that I was talking about earlier. So everything that happens on Bitcoin, like those miners are able to mine Syscoin, and we have about 30 to 40% of the Bitcoin hash rate. That means 30 to 40% of the Bitcoin also Syscoin. So all that computation, all that math and cryptographic algorithms that are getting solved by the Bitcoin blocks, the way this Syscoin is designed, you apply that information onto the Syscoin blockchain, and then it validates everything. So that's how we maintain proof of work, by using their consensus without doing any additional work. You know what I mean? Like they're
Okay.
simultaneously mining both the
It's
Bitcoin
exactly
mining.
happening at the same time, so you do retain those security aspects.
Right, right. And then how does it translate all the way to Rollux? Well, anything that happens on Rollux gets reverted back to the layer one. If you guys remember, I said the layer two inherits the security of the layer one. So that's how essentially we get that security. That's what makes it super unique. Just like the difference with these other layer twos, they inherit the security of Ethereum. Well, in this case, you're inheriting the security of Syscoin, which is inheriting the security of Bitcoin.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess it goes in a chain like that in that sense for sure. Thank you. That is a very simple explanation, and it makes complete sense for me. So appreciate that one. Thank you, Alex, for the question. I know you actually have a few more, so we might go ahead keep asking away, Alex, and we can get to them as we go along in the discussion. So first off, my next question for you guys on our side, obviously, just want to say congrats on the mainnet launch that came out recently. Very cool stuff. And with this launch, for any developers that may be listening today or will listen back to this, what would you guys say is the best way for developers to get involved? And what comes next after mainnet?
Man, now it's just growing the ecosystem, being there for people who are interested in building, letting projects know about
Hmm.
Rollux and how it is the most performant blockchain out there. I think we proved that to you guys when we
Yeah.
showed you the gas fees with your oat contract. So I could tell that story. Um, and I think we did one of our devs did a sample of an oat contract, and then when we did it on testnet, like the fee to mint the NFT, the oat, it was like 0.00004 sys, which is like a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a cent. Probably the lowest of what you guys currently have chains integrated. So that was
Yeah,
pretty
that is
cool.
very
Like
exciting.
to kind of prove that, right? And now we're excited because it's literally like what people are used to building on, which is EVM, right? Everyone's building on
Yeah.
Ethereum. That's why all these chains are EVM compatible. But now we can brag about, hey, we've got the lowest cost and we're the most scalable, right? And the quickest. And
No,
when I say
exactly.
quickest, is very relative, right? Because it depends on network congestion and stuff like that. So, and it depends on like these RPC endpoints. So, like if you're using MetaMask versus if you're using another wallet. So I don't like to talk about speed too much, but yeah, it's like probably when it comes down to it, when the network's under stress and everything, we're probably also the fastest. So that is something that we want to communicate to kind of the developers out there building. So they choose to build with Rollux from the start, just because it's going to be just super advantageous. And we have a great BD team, a great marketing team that's very collaborative with people. 'Cause, like we want to see more building,
Mhm.
and a lot of time there's not enough support when you get too big. But we try to keep that small feel where, hey, yeah, you can reach me, you can talk to our CTO, you could talk to um, Dylan on the PR side, Patrick on the marketing side. Like we're here to help you. We want to see you grow your project.
No, yeah, I love that. I think that that's definitely the right angle to take. And it's very exciting to see. And the story you mentioned about the proof is right there, right? When you can see the cheaper than everyone else, it's just, that's a nice thing to have. Honestly, you should definitely be proud of that one.
Good.
Um,
And if I can
when
just add on to that,
yeah, go ahead.
one of the ways that we try to appeal to devs, and of course it's been in our mind, it's been in Jag's mind since before,
Of course.
long before Rolex ever came online, was uh, the fact that we're totally compatible with Ethereum. I mean, that we made that decision on purpose because we disagree with some of the decisions that Ethereum has made and the way that they've steered the project. But
Mhm.
on a fundamental level, we recognize that they're the ones who pioneered smart contracts. They have the largest development pool in the world as far as blockchain projects go with Solidity devs, and with us being 100 totally compatible with them. I mean, it makes the proposition a lot easier because we're not just telling people,
I
hey,
agree.
if you build on Rollux, you're going to have increased security, faster speeds, and you're going to save a ton of money just in transaction fees alone. Uh, but also, you can basically, if you've been building something on Ethereum or you've been building something on Polygon, you can just move it over because you've already done the
Yeah,
hard work.
true.
I mean, I mean, if you move something to Polygon already, or you've got something going on Ethereum, there's no reason you can't go multi-chain and be like, hey, let's test out Rollux and see if their claims that it is great as they say it is. Let's see if that's really true. We challenge you to do that because we're pretty confident in it, and we know that you can benefit from moving over. And we've seen other projects that have gone in a different direction. They've used a different um, development language, or they've invented their own, and like that's a big ask for people.
Yeah, it is.
And it's like Ethereum's already done all this legwork in order to create the development pool, the talent pool that they have right now. And why would you want to go against that and just throw it all away and start fresh? Basically, it's like it's already there, and why not take advantage of it? And so I put it in several of our articles or videos that we put out. Like, basically, we want people to know that there's always an open invitation. If you are built on another EVM and you're interested in the things that we're saying, please come just try out your project on Rollux, and we guarantee that you'll like it at least as much as you like it on where it currently is, but probably a little bit more. And maybe you'll want to focus on it on Rollux a little bit more.
I like that. I like that outlook. I think a big thing that a lot of people will struggle with, or maybe projects will struggle with long term, is just complacency in the sense of they may just be comfortable with what they're doing. But I very much agree that giving things like this a try, right, when the option is there, like you mentioned, um, is 100% worth it. Especially just, I mean, there's nothing wrong like being multi-chain, right, or chain agnostic, etc. is incredibly good. In my opinion, the more the better. I love anything omni-chain, for example. But yeah, of course, that's some very exciting stuff. And earlier, this will help me kind of segue into the sort of last technical related thing I have today. So we talked a bit obviously about speed, scalability, cheap fees, understanding how Rolex works. So for myself, when I go to obviously the Rolex ecosystem page from the website, and we have how Rolex works. We have protocol specs, next gen fault proofs. My first question for you guys is just sort of to help understand a few terms on that page from that little intro. Rolex aims to solve decentralized sequencing in a new and novel way. Now, it already mentions providing layer 2 data availability, primed to support layer 3 and beyond for fractal scaling. All of this means Rolex is secure, scalable, costs are very little to use, obviously, as we've talked about today. It is a big leap towards making blockchain tech viable for global mass adoption. This is something I'm super excited for, obviously. For those in the chat that are listening or reading that paragraph, there's a few terms in there, obviously, like layer 3 and fractal scaling. If you guys wouldn't mind just giving us a quick, easy to understand explanation of what some of those terms mean, and more of a simplified version, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you do bring that up because the big words can be intimidating, right?
Of
I
course,
think,
I hear fractal scaling and I'm like, I don't know.
yeah, man, fractal scaling is pretty much an example of anything above layer 2. It's like
That is a great
you're
explanation.
fractionalizing things. So, like, it all goes back to the design, right?
Of
When I
course.
was talking about this modular design, think about it as like a mall, right? We have like our basic malls that's like one story, and then you have the Dubai Mall, right? It's huge. I don't know if it's two or three, 4 or 5 stories, but essentially you could just keep building up and up and up. And that's exactly what fractal scaling is. It would be a layer 3. So we are nowhere near mass adoption. Absolutely nowhere near. And Galaxy is I love Galaxy because with the campaigns that you do, like they get so popular that they'll actually put stress on some of these blockchains. And then what do you
Yeah.
see is that these fees go up, right? So in the long
Mhm.
term, let's say Galaxy grows by 50, 100x, like how are these blockchains going to be able to handle that? Well, it's all about design. It might get to the point where Galaxy itself needs to be on a layer 3. So when you build up, you're essentially kind of cutting your costs down while still keeping that security, right? Like on the third floor of the mall, your layer 3, like it's still it's still secure. It's still the base. There's still the base of the mall. You're just at the third level, right, with different stores and activities and whatever. So that's the kind of the easiest way to describe fractal scaling and how that would work in the future.
I like that a lot. Is it's just like on the first floor of the mall, it's maybe it's more packed, and on the third floor there's no lines. Is a good way to explain it. So,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
that's a real good one. Like I actually got a much better analogy. So first floor, like right, parking, security guards, you got the elevators and all that stuff. Second floor is like your mainstream dApp, so it'd be like the mainstream clothing stores, and then like third floor would be like a store that needs like their own floor.
oh, okay.
It's that popular of a store that everyone's there. So that's a good way to it.
No, yeah, that's a perfect example, honestly.
And we're on the forefront of that. Like hardly anybody's thinking about this. They're
Mhm.
only thinking about layer two. The retail side doesn't really know about data availability. I would say the developers how important that is. So we're definitely ahead of the curve in the tech side because we've seen how things are going to grow. We've observed the market, and instead of like reinventing the wheel and try to do our own thing, we just take the best of what already exists and then just compound on top of that.
Oh,
Say
I like that.
you feel very comfortable with Syscoin because we're not like just making something new. We're taking what's proven and everyone loves, which is Bitcoin and Ethereum for developers, and making it better.
Of course, no, I agree. I think that's the move. I also agree that we're not close to mass adoption at all. But I'd certainly love to get there. I know that we get a little better every year, and I'm excited to see this mall grow to 10 to 12 floors at some point. So thank you for that explanation. That was a perfect way to make that easier to understand, honestly. So, so from that specific page, my next question for you is: could you just give us a brief explanation of next gen fault proofing as well?
I don't know who put that on the website.
Oh,
Next gen fault proofing. Man, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what it means by that. That's just more of tech lingo. So
that's okay.
I will
No
humbly admit
problem.
you stumped me on that.
Not a problem. We go deep into things. We can also shift the discussion to a more
Dylan or
community
Patrick, do
focused
y'all know?
one. Yeah,
I don't know what that is, man.
It
not
just
a
sounds.
problem.
Has to do
It
with
was
the chain
it was
locks.
interesting, yeah, and I was curious
Oh,
about it because I
chain lock.
hadn't heard of it before.
Yeah, it's all the chain lock stuff, all the security stuff behind the Bitcoin
Oh,
connection with
okay.
it. So
That
Does
basically,
it have
that makes more sense.
does it have to
Yeah,
do
I'm
with
not looking at
upgrading
it. You're just
the
saying
masternode
it.
network?
Maybe. Yeah.
Does it have to do
Uh,
with the masternode network?
yeah, like basically, I think they just worded it funny. It's like the security behind it, how there's consensus, there's the governance, there's the people can't shut the chain down. All that's like we're not.
Ah,
I don't want to say coins out there, but certain ones shut down every now and then,
Yeah.
have errors and stuff like that. Yeah,
rollbacks.
Yeah, because I know there was mentioned
rollbacks. Yeah,
the Syscoin Foundation and I think it was a sequencer node,
mhm.
if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, think of it like layer two, think of it like a shipping container, right? We have like our port, and then we're loading up all these transactions on the layer two, which is the shipping container, and we're shipping it down to the layer one, and that gets sent over as data. So we have like a sequencer or like someone who's in charge of that. So it's not as decentralized on the layer two as it is on the layer one. So we're running that, but we're looking for ways, and a lot of these protocols are looking for ways like, okay, how can we also decentralize the sequencer to make things like the most decentralized experience while still kind of maintaining a user friendliness, right?
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So, and one thing I'll add, since we're talking about it anyway, is I mean, it's not necessarily new with Rollux because we've had it for a while before we even added the NEVM chain. But of course, all of this, since it all works together and we're modular,
Rollux has just inherited it because it was already there. But we already talked about the merge mining, which is how we get miners or mining pools to mine Syscoin in addition to already mining Bitcoin because it just shares the same resources. That way, they're not expending any more energy or work to secure our network in addition to Bitcoin. So it's like, I mean, it's a good proposition for them. So if we're trying to get a mining pool to add us, it's like uh, they're basically only upsides and no downsides because it's free money for them. Because if you're already mining Bitcoin, then you can start mining Syscoin for free through merge mining. And like I said, it doesn't tax your system any more than what it's already doing. And so you're just getting paid more to do what you're already doing. But even so, you'd be surprised that some people aren't interested in free money for whatever reason. But with in addition to being merge mined, we do have a masternode network, and this enhances our proof of work security, and it all takes place on the layer one of the UTXO or the original Bitcoin chain. And this adds additional benefits that you don't get strictly from just being merge mined proof of work, which include we are impervious to 51% attacks, which is good, impervious to rollbacks, and also impervious to selfish mining or MEV attacks. And those are all avenues where if we didn't have the masternode network, we would still be vulnerable.
That's cool, actually. I love to hear the extra security processes here. That's very interesting. And also, you mentioned that the people not wanting free money thing. I very much agree. I think that like complacency and I guess comfortability just kind of eliminates people's more so willingness to step outside because if you know obviously what you're saying is you can just do it right on top and it adds no stress, then why not, right? But it's funny how you'll see people interact and react in those situations, right? Well, they'll just be like, no, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, although the option is there, right? That is really cool though. I did not know that you could just, if you're mining Bitcoin, you could just mine Syscoin and it would be just free to do. That is interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah,
Thank
so spread the word, and that's the thing too. It's like it's. I mean, I would understand like if some random coin says they're merge mined with Bitcoin and like you've never heard of them, you don't want to go through the hassle of. I mean, setting it up, and it's not really a hassle. Like it might take you a few hours to add it to your network and get the process going. But I mean, it's pretty secure. We've been doing it for a while. Like there's not any issues. I mean, it's a clean process. But with Syscoin and now with Rollux, I mean, it's like Syscoin was started in 2014, and
Yeah.
yes, I mean we're not gonna talk about price and value. It's like obviously it's not perceived the same way as like Bitcoin or Ethereum. But the thing is, I mean, it's been chugging along for almost a decade itself, and it's like it's a pretty sure way if you're already mining Bitcoin to just get a little bit extra in your pocket, and who knows, in the future when Rolex gets the recognition that it should, you might be pretty happy that you did.
No, I like that outlook because obviously things like status and obviously levels of excitement and how obviously Ethereum is marketed more so than everything else, right? As the second to Bitcoin being number one, and those are always going to have that popularity that will factor into people's decisions at the end of the day. It's just how people work. But I do like that outlook that the proof is in the work at the end of the day, right? And long term, Some people may regret it, some people may not. Depends on the person, obviously. But yeah, I do agree. Um, the hard work at the end of the day is what really matters and will trump all discrepancies, right? So thank you for that. That's a great explanation. Appreciate that 100%. And I'm learning a lot today, actually. So it's very exciting. My favorite part of doing these weekly is I get to learn a lot about each project and some different things. So you guys have done a wonderful job of explaining that. We'll leave the tech stuff now. Don't worry, guys listening. No more big definitions or no more malls. I got you guys. We're gonna go right into some community stuff. So I believe Patrick can answer this one. So I know you guys talked about obviously our platform. You can launch platforms on Galaxy. We know you guys are launching and have launched a campaign on Galaxy, the Rollux rollout. Would you be able to just sort of give us the rundown of that campaign? You know, what was the process of that, putting it together, and kind of what you want to get out of that campaign on Galaxy?
Yeah, definitely. The whole point of the campaign was just to kind of introduce people to Rolex, and well, I shouldn't say just Rolex. It's kind of to get people introduced to our entire ecosystem, so that way when we did launch Rolex, you would have an idea of kind of what was what as far as like Pegasus being our main AMM, and then Luxy being our NFT marketplace, and then
Hmm.
since the campaign's not done yet, I can't give all the stuff
Of
away.
course.
But yeah, it was really just like an introductory into our ecosystem, and kind of with the arcade tokens that you'll be able to mint with your oats. You'll be able to take those basically, and the first thing you'll be able to do is mint a Rolex ecosystem token, and that's gonna be like your almost like a badge of honor. And we will be doing it. It is a utility NFT, so we've mentioned that we also have an airdrop campaign happening right now with Rolex with Super Token.
Yeah.
Um, the ecosystem NFT will be a part of that. So we've mentioned already that holding certain NFTs um, will allow you to get a piece of the airdrop on that. So just some alpha for you guys in here since you all joined us today. That the the ecosystem NFT that you'll be able to mint with your arcade tokens is a part of that. And then down the line, we actually plan on using them for a lot of other things. There's going to be other special NFT collections you'll be able to mint with your arcade tokens. And you'll be able to. They're basically and once you actually mint them on the Luxy platform, they won't be available for free. So you guys are kind of you're getting yours for free now since you're participating in the Galxe campaign,
Ahead of the
but
curve.
you're ahead of the curve. Yeah, after this, they'll be probably like about $20 each, just because it's a different model of NFTs that we're trying to go with some of these. Um, I don't know how to explain it. Basically, getting into NFTs is a little bit difficult, especially when you have like barriers of 1 to 2 ETH, and it's thousands of dollars just to get into something. So we're trying to change it up a little bit by offering, really high quality things that work within our ecosystem that that are affordable. So that was another point of the campaign as well, just to kind of give accessibility maybe to people that didn't have it before,
Hmm.
and just kind of kind of just get that ball rolling in that sense.
No, I like that outlook a lot. As you know, I'm a victim of spending $400 to mint an NFT. So obviously I'm my own victim there. But yeah, no, I do like this is something we've always wanted to push as well, is giving accessibility to people that want to participate, right? We fronted the gas fee on a lot of campaigns for a long period of time, which was just something because we just wanted people to have that opportunity and accessibility. And so thank you. Yeah, I agree. Thank you for the explanation. And with the Rolex Rollout Ecosystem campaign, so let me just do a quick little rundown. Let me know if I got everything correct here. Obviously, in the banner we have number 1, 2, and 3. So Once you finish the quest, you can earn tokens. You can use the tokens to mint the exclusive NFTs. Obviously, you're ahead of the curve on these. This will be announced kind of later throughout the Rollux ecosystem launch. Now we have number 3 that says extra lucky, receive super mint tokens. What is the difference between the earned tokens and the super mint tokens?
Okay, so this was kind of like just a little fun aspect that we wanted to do and add a little bit of RNG and rarity to some of the
Mhm.
things that get created. So when you take your oats and you go and mint these arcade tokens on the Luxy platform, there is a chance that you will get a rare arcade token, and you'll clearly be able to know the difference between the two. And these rare arcade tokens that you get, they will be used for very specific collections that we released, where you can only get this collection if you own or have one of um, these gold tokens.
Oh, that's very fun. I am a gambling man at heart, so I love the chance, the opportunity to get a random drop. I feel like it also goes into anybody that does really also enjoy like games, for example, like gaming itself, etc. A rare drop at the end of the day is always exciting. We love to have creative campaigns like that. So yeah, that is very exciting. I will myself obviously be participating in the Rolex rollout as I believe right now there's no end date at the moment. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, there's no end date at the moment. The next phase of the campaign is going to launch as soon as Super dApp comes out, which right now we're targeting August. Just as they make some final adjustments to UI. We're just trying to polish everything up before we release it, just because
Mhm.
it is a bear market, and it just doesn't really make sense to sit there and rush things out that aren't fully fleshed out. So
No,
they're
I
making
completely
some,
agree.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a hard time. Obviously, we all need to keep building. I think at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. But yeah, it's never a rush. It's never a race. I mean, we're currently sitting at around 14,000 participants in the campaign, which is very cool. I love to see that, especially with one that's very funny, creative like this, and kind of involves a larger ecosystem. I think that connecting is something very important that I think most projects that are, coming up and those existing now should continue to do. So, thank you for the awesome explanation for the Rolex rollout. My last question for you, Patrick, before we end the AMA portion, is just what's the best way for a user to get involved in Rolex, whether it's the community or the site itself, or what would you recommend for someone that has just learned about Rolex today? Where should they go and what should they do?
Definitely join the Discord. That's that's the first thing. You got to
Number
get
one.
into the Discord. Number one, yeah. And then number two, something I've noticed is people are saying that they don't get a lot of information about Rolex, or they don't hear about it a lot. So then I'll check their Twitter accounts and I look, and then it's like, they got like 20 or 30 people that they're following, and unfortunately, like none of them are any of the team members. None of them are any like crypto, news outlets or anything like that. I would say like a majority of the news and information that you're going to find about cryptocurrency is mostly through Twitter. Like we gotta be honest. Like Twitter is
Yeah,
without Twitter, crypto. I don't know. I don't know where it would be without Twitter.
we would not be
Um,
as far along,
no, but
honestly.
yeah, so I would recommend people definitely get your following up. There's no stigma against following a bunch of people. Make sure you're following projects um, that you like, or things that you just want to get updates on. Just follow everything. Follow the teams. You'll become much more informed in everything that you do in this space, not just with Rolex, not just with us, but you'll just become a better crypto consumer if you build up your follower, or build up the account you're following, and just kind of keep yourself informed, basically.
I completely agree. The way that I like to look at it is you can't read a book just by staring at it. You have to flip the pages. So that's my quick note there. Thank you, Patrick, for the wonderful explanations today. I completely agree. Twitter and Discord entirely changed the space, crazily enough. I can't imagine doing this on TeamSpeak or something along those lines. So uh,
Zoom.
for Zoom, yeah, it would be insane at that point. But No, thank you guys for coming on. This was very fun. A super informative discussion. Wonderful explanations of everything. I think myself, as not being the most tech heavy person, sometimes obviously these things can be very daunting. And it was a great way to put all the pieces together in a very simple and easy to understand format. So I want to thank you guys for coming on. Appreciate everything you guys are doing. Congratulations, obviously, on the mainnet launch that came not too long ago. Looking forward to what's to come. Guys, make sure you participate in the Rollux rollout campaign. There is no end date at the moment, so you guys have lots of time. Go check that out. The links are going to be in the chat. And with that, we'll close out the AMA portion today, and you guys can feel free to head out. If you'd like to just say goodbye as well, feel free. I'll let you do that, and then just feel free to leave for today.
Yeah, thanks to everyone who came out and listened and learned a little bit. Make sure you guys follow us on social. We're always giving out, well, at least me, I always give out extra alpha information. So you got some benefits there. Some of the other guys,
Super
Dylan and
important.
Patrick, do as well. So yeah, just stay on top of what we're doing. We got a lot of benefits. Like Patrick's saying, you're ahead of the curve here by being here today and participating in this campaign. And thank you guys, Galaxy. We're really enjoying kind of this whole process and getting the word out there.
Of course, thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate everything you guys are doing as well. Go ahead, Dylan.
yeah, oh yeah, I was just gonna say it's been a pleasure speaking with you, and it's quite a large audience. Usually our live shows don't have this many people on at once. So it's been really cool, and I just encourage everyone, if you're interested, like going back to what I said, if you're a dev, a Solidity dev, please check us out. Just try it. There's a Rollux faucet if you just want an easy way to get a little bit of Rollux, and you only need a little bit of Rollux because we're so affordable. I mean, each transaction is only a fraction of a cent. Like even the best layer 2 protocols currently running on top of Ethereum do not come anywhere close to the savings and the speed and security that Rolex is offering. So please come check us out. Join our Rolex Discord. Follow us on Twitter. That includes all of our personal accounts too. But yeah, it's been great talking to you, and thank you.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Dylan. And with that, yeah, feel free to head out for today, guys.